Karl Jobst is watching his decade-long legacy burn to the ground right before his eyes. And honestly, he's backed into a corner with absolutely zero escape route. This whole nightmare kicked off after he exposed a video game fraudster in my last upload. That video was supposed to blast Guinness World Records for their shady operations. Specifically, how they decided to hand prestigious titles back to a proven con artist named Billy Mitchell. Naturally, Billy didn't take the criticism well, and decided slapping me with a defamation lawsuit was the right move. It was supposed to end with the judge laughing him out of court. Karl was meant to be the hero slaying the dragon. But as it turns out, his armor wasn't nearly as bulletproof as he thought. And under pressure, it shattered. Karl walked into this legal brawl with every advantage imaginable. The entire internet was rallying behind him in the fight against Billy Mitchell. Even the biggest titans on YouTube had his back. But here's the thing about spending your life acting like a fool. When you're nothing but a clown who trips over their own feet at every milestone, you eventually turn into the very thing you hate, a duplicate of Billy Mitchell. He had a fan base ready to drop over 200,000 Australian dollars just to save their favorite creator. But right when victory looked guaranteed for Karl, a catastrophic twist blindsided everyone. On April 1st, I lost my case against Billy Mitchell. The court ordered me to pay $350,000. That includes damages and interest. Obviously, this isn't the outcome I was banking on. It's genuinely shocking. And here is where it gets ugly. Billy's actual motive for suing Karl was completely different from the public narrative, leaving supporters feeling stabbed in the back. The way things are looking now, earning that trust back feels virtually impossible. Hey guys, I'm the Who Else. I drop deep dive documentaries every week. Today, we're dissecting the sudden implosion of Karl Jobst. How did a man famous for hunting down cheaters and exposing online bullies end up destroying his own credibility overnight? It wasn't always like this. Long before the YouTube drama, Karl was the real deal. He was a legendary speedrunner, crushing classics like GoldenEye, 007, and Perfect Dark. He's been grinding these games since 1999, sticking with the craft for years. He didn't upload his first YouTube clip until 2014, a compilation of 3 speedruns. Just him demolishing 3 of Nintendo's greatest hits ever released, all in under 60 minutes. But he didn't start taking content creation seriously until December 2017. That's when he pivoted from standard gameplay to a brand new recurring series. A show dedicated to exposing frauds who tried to cheat their way to glory. Henning was a serial liar and a cheat. It's a tragedy that a player with his talent felt the need to fake it and ruin everything he built. As a fellow elite gamer, it breaks my heart that his legitimate runs are ignored because of his scams. Karl's obsession with keeping the speedrunning scene clean was obvious from day one. But here's the irony nobody saw coming. That same burning passion for the truth would eventually lead to his own destruction. But before we get there, let's rewind and meet the villain of this story, William James Mitchell Jr. You know him as Billy Mitchell. He's an old-school arcade grinder who built a brand by pushing games like Pac-Man to their absolute breaking point. He even snagged the Donkey Kong world record in 1982. Calling himself the video game player of the century. His ego exploded in 2007 when the documentary The King of Kong hit the web. By that point, Billy practically saw himself as a god, the greatest to ever touch a joystick. But his empire came crashing down in 2018 when Twin Galaxies, the official record keepers, found proof of his alleged cheating and stripped his titles. So here is where Karl steps into the ring. Back in July of 2020, he dropped a video now scrubbed from the internet titled "Guinness World Records Should Stay Out of Gaming." It was a deep dive manifesto, basically roasting the organization for being totally unqualified to validate high scores in the gaming world. About 11 minutes in, he brings up the Billy Mitchell saga to prove his point. Here is the context. When Twin Galaxies nuked Billy's scores, Guinness originally fell in line because they trusted Twin Galaxies' data. But then, the script flipped. Out of nowhere, Guinness put his records back up, completely ignoring the official verdict, even though they have zero clue about arcade hardware. And that is exactly what ticked Karl off. To quote the man himself, "Things have gone downhill fast, and a few catastrophic choices have totally torched their reputation with the gaming community." The biggest sin? Giving a pass to a guy caught red-handed. Back in 2018, Twin Galaxies erased Mitchell from the leaderboards. Once evidence proved his Donkey Kong runs were running on emulation, not original hardware. Guinness took the hint and scrubbed his name too, following the expert's lead. But in a totally weird twist, Guinness decided last month to just give him the records back, spitting in the face of the Twin Galaxies investigation. It is insanity because Guinness aren't scorekeepers and have no business making that call. Now, this was just a tiny segment of a massive video, but Billy couldn't handle the heat. He immediately started rattling the legal saber. As Karl put it, looks like Mitchell didn't enjoy his guest appearance in my last upload, which was mainly roasting Guinness. I tore them apart for their sketchy behavior, and for high-fiving a known fraud like Billy Mitchell by restoring his titles. Mitchell got his feelings hurt and decided slapping me with a defamation suit was a brilliant move. He shopped around for lawyers until he found one naive enough to actually send a demand letter, ordering me to delete the content, say I am sorry, and cut him a check for $150,000. Yeah, you heard that right. 150 grand for a brief mention in a 2-week-old video. Most people would fold, but Karl, he didn't just stand his ground, he went on the offensive and started dissecting Billy's behavior with a microscope, dropping videos on the lawsuit against Twin Galaxies for invalidating his scores and exposing his legal war against another creator who dared call him a fraud. Karl even set up a war chest on GoFundMe to support anyone else caught in Billy's litigation crosshairs. The description read, Billy Mitchell, the disgraced gamer caught lying and cheating repeatedly, keeps weaponizing the courts to silence his critics. This fund is to help his victims fight back. Naturally, this made Billy absolutely livid, and after firing off a few more threats, he pulled the trigger on a massive $450,000 defamation suit against Karl. Now, creators getting sued for commentary isn't exactly breaking news. I just covered the BitBoy vs. Atozy drama recently. But just like in that scenario, the internet rallied hard behind Karl. They smashed the donation goal, raising over $200,000, while absolutely roasting Billy in the comments. One user wrote, "This dude isn't just the clown or the circus, he is the entire entertainment industry." Another joked, Billy is the type of guy who sits around Googling his own name just to find new people to sue. Even Notch, the guy who made Minecraft, jumped in and promised to pay Karl's legal bills, whatever the final tab was. Meanwhile, Karl kept uploading, highlighting every single loss Billy took in court, and there were a lot. By the time Karl's trial rolled around, Billy's record was 0 wins, 8 losses. Every single case had been tossed out. So, saying Karl's fanbase expected a blowout win is putting it mildly. Karl joked, "The only case Billy has left is mine. Am I seriously going to be his first victory?" Oh boy, wouldn't that be the ultimate irony? The verdict was set to drop during a live stream on April 1st, 2025. Thousands of people watched, waiting to see the judge absolutely dismantle Billy's case. Nobody saw the next twist coming, and it left the entire community absolutely reeling in shock. To quote the judge, Jobst walked into that courtroom trying to play the hero, the knight destined to slay the quote-unquote Mitchell Dragon. Bad news for Karl, his weapon of choice was way flimsier than he thought. It snapped right in half during the fight. The ruling found that Karl's behavior actually inflicted serious damage on Mitchell, wrecking both his personal life and his standing in the public eye. The verdict? A massive win for Mitchell. We are talking $300,000 for non-economic losses, plus another 50 grand in aggravated damages. So, the gavel dropped in Billy's favor, forcing Karl to cough up more than $350,000. But wait, there is more. He is also on the hook for Billy's lawyer bills. We do not have the receipt down to the penny, but experts are guessing the total bill is going to eclipse $1.5 million. However, the money is actually the least of his problems. The real casualty here is Karl's credibility. Why? Because the curtain got pulled back. It looks like Karl was spinning a web of lies from day one, or at least that is the vibe his fanbase is getting now that the facts are out. Get this, almost everyone was convinced Billy dragged Karl to court just because Karl called him a cheater. But that was a smokescreen. The defamation suit actually dropped because Karl accused Billy of something way darker. To get the full picture, we have to rewind and check out a different legal battle. This one goes back to 2019, involving another creator in the speedrunning space, Benjamin Smith. You might know him as Apollo Legend. He dropped a few videos tearing apart Billy's legendary Donkey Kong scores, pointing out some glaring red flags. That was back in 2018. Billy, obviously, did not take the criticism well and slapped Apollo with a lawsuit a few months down the line. Fast forward to 2020, Apollo settled. He agreed to scrub every single video about Billy from his channel and promised to keep Billy's name out of his mouth forever. But then, a horrible tragedy struck right after the ink dried. Apollo uploaded a final goodbye to YouTube, thanking his community for having his back, before heartbreakingly taking his own life. This connects directly to why Billy crushed Karl in court. It all comes down to one fatal error in Karl's narrative. In a 2021 video, Karl dropped this bombshell, quote, "He also sued YouTuber Apollo Legend for $1 million. He went on to say, "I've not discussed this publicly, but that legal fight ended with Apollo crumbling. He settled with Mitchell, was forced to delete his content exposing the cheating, and had to pay Mitchell a massive pile of cash, which buried him in debt. He had to scramble for extra jobs, but considering his chronic health struggles, the weight was too heavy, and he eventually committed suicide." You catch that? He was insinuating that Billy was directly responsible for Apollo Legend's death. That is a nuclear accusation to make. And Karl brought zero receipts to the table. The part about Apollo paying a fortune, the claim about him drowning in debt because of the settlement, it was basically fiction. None of those details exist in the public record or the released documents. And here is the nail in the coffin. Apollo never once blamed Billy for his heartbreaking choice. In that final upload, he strictly talked about his deteriorating physical and mental well-being as the sole cause. He literally said, "What you guys have to understand is that for really my whole life, I have had to deal with serious physical illness, serious mental illness, as well as some pretty terrible past experiences. And it has finally hit me where I realized that this is not something that is going to go away." So, claiming Billy caused a suicide without proof was strike one. Karl's second massive screw-up, he kept the real reasons for the lawsuit hidden from his viewers. When the truth came out, the internet turned on him instantly. Just look at the top reply on his "I lost" tweet. It says, "You could really use some self-reflection," instead of blaming Billy for something that was pure conjecture by you, even in defeat. Look at how many people are surprised because you repeatedly misled them. On the actual purpose of the lawsuit, Karl tried to clap back at the hate with a Twitter statement claiming, "There are a lot of lies being spread that I falsely claimed Billy sued me because I said he cheated. I never claimed this. I only claimed it was relevant as part of my defense. I kept my mouth shut on the specifics for legal reasons. Sure, but don't get it twisted, I wasn't trying to bury the lead on this lawsuit. That said, you guys dragged me for being shady. And yeah, you're right. I dropped the ball, and I own that. I steered clear of the Apollo Legend drama because, honestly, bringing it up could have tanked my whole defense strategy. And let's be clear, I didn't wake up deciding to lie about Apollo. I was just parroting bad intel I got from a bunch of different sources. The second I realized the info was bogus, I pulled it back. But guess what? Too little, too late. It wasn't enough. Instead of putting out the fire, he basically poured gasoline all over the mob's torches. Everyone felt stabbed in the back, viewing this as just another desperate attempt by Karl to dodge responsibility. One pissed off fan summed it up perfectly, posting that his entire brand lately has just been this legal drama. Yet out of all that content, he only bothered to bring up the actual smoking gun in a single, solitary clip. That one detail would have flipped the script on how we see him. It's shady moves like this that make it impossible to trust anyone online. Okay, playing devil's advocate for a second, Karl actually did drop a link in one of his uploads. It laid out Billy's real beef, specifically the accusation that Karl was responsible for someone losing their life. He mentioned the personal attacks and basically said that's the whole story. But here's the kicker. He conveniently forgot to tell us that this massive bombshell was buried in a tiny segment. We're talking one blip in a sea of videos he's churned out about Billy over the years. And it gets worse. Instead of giving this heavy topic the airtime it needed, Karl just brushed it off like it was nothing and moved on. For context, Billy is talking about Apollo Legend, the creator who sadly passed away back in December of 2020. I'm not diving into the gritty details here, mostly because it's tied directly to the legal battle he's waging against me. But let's cut the crap. Everything that just came out of his mouth is total fiction. Karl uploaded video after video roasting Billy's legal history, yet only one actually admitted what the court case was really regarding. It's no wonder the entire internet was convinced the lawsuit was purely about video game cheating. Then comes April 17th. Karl drops a 30-minute sob story called "I Lost," trying to justify his mess. But just like his Twitter meltdown, this video did absolutely zero to save his tanking credibility. The entire upload just screamed, "It's not my fault," as he frantically tried to pin his screw-up on everyone else. He actually had the nerve to claim this whole misunderstanding was the fault of the news outlets. Usually I dissect this play-by-play, but since I'm personally in the crosshairs here, I'm playing this one close to the vest. Here's the raw deal. I'm getting sued for defamation. They're coming after me for $450,000. I'll keep you posted as the drama unfolds. But I can't spill the tactical beans before I actually get to use them in front of a judge. After that, I went radio silent on the legal stuff for over a year. Meanwhile, the press kept churning out headlines. They kept saying Billy was suing me over cheating accusations. And let me tell you, that narrative didn't come from me. I wasn't saying a word about the case. The journalists were cooking these stories up on their own. They were pulling this info straight from the court filings where these exact arguments were going down. Once again, he's dodging the fact that he wasn't transparent. Just look at the comment section roasting him. One user said, "I've been subbed for years and I honestly never thought this case was about anything else. It always seemed like it was just about the cheating. So I went back and binged every single video Karl made on the topic. When you watch them, the vibe is undeniable. He frames the whole lawsuit as a battle over high scores. The Apollo Legend link is practically non-existent. Even Charlie, who had Karl's back from day one, and literally showed up as a witness, admitted he was clueless about the lawsuit's true nature. Damn, that is absolutely savage. Honestly, I thought we had that one in the bag, dead to rights. Like I said, I walked into that courtroom completely blind to what the main beef actually was. It turned out to be all about his reputation, and they wouldn't shut up about this grapevine effect. They couldn't prove a thing, and it got so bad the judge actually started snapping at Billy. The judge was tearing into Billy's legal team, so I figured it was a slam dunk. I have no clue how it fell apart at the finish line. To put it bluntly, this entire legal saga has been a catastrophic failure for Karl. He didn't just hand Billy Mitchell a win, he finally secured a complete legal win after decades, but it was a Pyrrhic victory that absolutely nuked his reputation. It gave Billy Mitchell the perfect ammunition to roast him alive and turn his social media presence into a war zone. Billy is digging up ancient history, broadcasting humiliating clips from Karl's past that most of his subscribers never knew existed. Hi, Karl Jobst here, founder of ApproachHerNow.com. And if you are desperate to skyrocket your confidence with the ladies and eliminate that crippling anxiety you feel right before making a move, then you have found the holy grail. Hey guys, it is Karl. In this clip, I am going to break down a foolproof, effortless tactic you can use immediately if you want to crush your fear of talking to women. Billy is even mocking him by twisting Karl's signature intro, "Hello, you absolute legends," and morphing it into a savage, "Hello, you absolute virgins." He is doing all this while plugging his hot sauce with the promo code KarlLost. Sure, some allies like Notch are still in his corner, but let's be real, a massive percentage of his fanbase feels completely betrayed. The trust is gone. They cheered for his content for years, only to wake up and realize they were rooting for a total stranger. Winning back that faith might be a pipe dream, but that does not mean his career is dead in the water just yet. A slice of his audience honestly does not give a damn about the lawsuit drama. They just want the gaming history content. Take this tweet from a longtime follower who told him straight up, "I have been here since day one. And I gotta say, this pivot to pure drama bait might bring in the cash, but it is garbage compared to your speedrunning deep dives. Please go back to your roots." If he keeps his nose to the grindstone and focuses on the fans, he might just salvage some of his standing. Even so,